Ever saw a monkey trap? Well, monkey catchers put a bottle filled with peanuts inside the ground. As soon as the monkey puts its hand in the bottle and grabs a fistful of peanuts, it gets stuck. It tries and tries, squealing, and yet does not realize that all it needs to do is let go of the peanuts and unclench its fist and become free. That's how. The world doesn't get a hold of you, only you grab it. Our possessions such as wealth, status, relations, and ego don't pull us. We choose to go with them because we're attached to them through the fear of letting go. Let's take another example. There are conjoined twins who are born physically connected. Attached together, their lives will always become dependent on each other in everything they do. Unless detached or separated surgically, none of them will be able to grow and develop to their fullest. This was about physical attachment, but just like that, we also become emotionally attached to the people, possessions, our own body, and ego. And once you get emotionally attached to others, you start expecting from them, become dependent, conditional, and owned by them. That's why this attachment is a problem, because it entangles you, entraps you, and binds you. Being attached means getting disturbed and worried because of others. Attachments make you lose yourself while trying to please others, whereas detachments make you find yourself even if you lose others. Being detached means taking care and being concerned of others without getting affected personally so that nothing owns you. Remember, if your family members or friends are going through a crisis, they need a strong helping hand and not an upset one. Detachment shall not make you indifferent or emotionless. Instead, it helps your wisdom, your mind guide your body, relations, and possessions. So even if you cannot control your emotions, you can control your reactions. This is how you begin to realize that you are not your body. You are not your roles. You are not your job. You are not your spouse, parents, or children. It means you stop expecting and start accepting, become independent, unconditional, and egoless of whatever goes around you. You allow others to be who they are and yourself to be who you are. Ever saw a lotus flower? It grows in the attachment of muddy waters, and yet it rises above the surface and becomes detached from its immediate surroundings to bloom with remarkable beauty and transformation. It means you must live in the world, but the world shall not live inside you. It makes you realize that the battle of life exists, and you still have to play your part and yet accept the game as it is. Imagine as if you are stepping back to observe yourself. What is happening to you and around you without being involved? That's how you stop taking everything personally. Attachments of this world, on the other hand, put you under the fear of loss. The more attachments you have, the more anxious you become. Why is the time of death called the hardest? Because we've been so attached to everything in this world, and then all of a sudden, we are forced to sever every tie at once. Being detached means dying before you die. This saves you from a lot of unnecessary sufferings as you surrender yourself to God's will and do what you need to do, and yet your mind is content and at peace. The greatest example of detachment is the Battle of Karbala, where the master of martyrs, Hussein ibn Ali, experiences all kinds of sufferings. Surrounded by thousands of enemies, suffering from thirst amidst the scorching heat of Iraq, losing all of his friends, family, brothers and sons, and even his 6-month-old baby in his own lap. And yet, he stands calm under calamities, determined to achieve his ultimate goal, that is, surrendering completely to God until the very end with patience and perseverance. Detachments happen slowly and gradually through knowledge. You have to know that the ultimate purpose of you being here is to test you constantly through life, and so that you can progress from being an imprisoned caterpillar and transform into a free, beautiful butterfly. Each test of life puts pressure on our sensitive points such as health, wealth, ego, relationships, and so we may become detached. Success in every test gets us closer to being independent. In reality, detachment means attachment to God, returning back to whom you originally belonged to. It means being independent of the temporary world, but dependent on eternal God. It means keep doing whatever you do, but your intention and goal should be that you're doing it for God's sake. Emphasis on being attached to a divine cause will automatically detach you from lower causes. So when your intention is to please your Lord, you automatically become detached from everything else. And this is when you embrace uncertainty as a reality and become truly free.